from grade 11 to 12, I was elected to be the president, or to serve as the president of the Representative Council of Learners Executive Committee. I also had to make a major change. I felt like I was definitely going to fail, to a point where I even started preparing to repeat the next year. It's a problem when you do not stand up, dust yourself off, hold your head up high, and move forward. Then failure is going to become a problem. So I'm like, oh, guys, what's going on? The others like they just broke into the car and took the laptop and the iPad. I'm like, that can't be. There's no way.
Against all odds.
Exactly. Against all odds, I had to persevere, pick myself up, dust myself off, and move forward. And those are the things that you deal with as a student.
Good day, fellow internal auditors and upcoming internal auditors. Welcome to another episode of INbrief podcast. I'm happy to be joined by my colleague Tlogi, who would be co-hosting the episode with me. Tlogi, how are you?
I am well, and you?
I'm very well, thank you. My name is Lwandile, and today we have our guest, Rowan Haai, is it?
Yes, that's correct.
Rowan Haai is...
It's important to pronounce
Yes.
the same
Yes,
correctly.
indeed.
Yeah.
So Rowan is our Professional of the Year, IIA Young Professional of the Year in 2023. That's what he won, which is quite a prestigious award in the internal audit fraternity. He's also a conference keynote speaker, which is excellent. So we are looking forward to hearing from him today and learning different insights from him. Hi, and welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's obviously a privilege for me to be sitting amongst greatness, actually. So yeah, I really look forward to us just having a conversation, getting to know each other, getting to know what is it that we stand for, and what it is that we are doing as internal auditors.
But not so quick.
Oh,
We are
okay.
not going to the questions yet. Let's do the icebreakers.
Yes.
What do you think?
Please, let's do that.
Yes. So the questions you will answer, top of your mind, be as honest as you could. First question, if you could make an office rule that everyone has to adhere to for a day, what would it be? Just for a day.
Wear shorts. I like being comfortable. Shorts.
Auditor
I
with shorts.
like being comfortable.
Love that.
Definitely.
Not
You
the
either-
blue and grey.
Not even. If I'm working from home, and you can ask my colleagues, if my camera is on, they will find me either in a brown gown, winter gown in summer, or if I really want to be comfortable, I'll be in a short.
Are you serious? So in a gown,
If I could have a short
are
on
you
now,
presenting your audit findings in a gown?
well, not when I'm talking to clients. So I would have the gown on, and then it would just be fastened here, and then I would have a shirt and just look professional.
I love that.
So, wow. So you look professional on the upwards, and then...
Definitely.
True.
In Afrikaans, you say, "Bo blank onder stink."
Ah,
so it
nice.
means on top it looks very, like a dark on water.
Yes.
It looks perfect on top, but at the bottom, it's like this. So, yeah. Sunny
So
day.
you are here writing your own biography. What would be the title of that biography? Then it will say what kind of person you are.
So for those of, I think most people wouldn't know. So my surname is Haai. So it's not I or I as in like I know.
Yeah.
It's the Afrikaans translation of shark.
Yes.
And how I would, and mind you, I can't swim to save my life. So I am such a disservice to my surname. I actually have aquaphobia, diagnosed aquaphobia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Oh.
crazy business. It takes me 2 hours to get into a pool, just a normal pool. So I would say something about shark, something about making waves. Sharky, making waves, something like that. Do you understand? Making waves as in like, you are You are
Yes,
making
yes,
waves.
yes.
You are there.
Love it.
Once was
Yes.
definitely. Something like
Yes.
yeah.
So, with your biography, what would you put in your biography? Telling us about yourself, your background, what have you studied yourself as a child?
Yeah. So-
what was your dream job?
Yeah.
I'm asking a lot of questions, I know, but
I know.
Yes, but it just say is basically I'm just saying take us through your journey from a teenager. Maybe that's what you remember until this point, sitting here.
My goodness. You see now that's the thing. When people ask you, tell us who you are. It sounds like a very easy question.
Yes.
Sounds very straightforward, but it is actually not as straightforward as it is. But for me, I enjoy talking about my journey because
Yes.
I believe that I'm not defined by who I am, or I'm not defined by what I am.
Yeah.
I'm defined by who I am. So just in terms of the what. So I grew up in very humbling circumstances. We never had our own house. For the longest of time, we stayed in deck rooms, in garages, just to, and it was, in Afrikaans, you'd also say, van die hand tot die mond. So the moment the money comes into the account,
Yeah.
it comes in and then it has to, it has its job already.
It bounces in your
Yeah,
account.
definitely. So, youngest of three, and
Where?
youngest of three. So
Where was
born and
where
bred
did you-
in Pretoria.
in Pretoria?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
I'm
born
from
and bred-
Pretoria too.
Yeah. So I was actually born in a, I don't know, is it a town or a suburb? Sometimes they say town or suburb, but Easters. I don't know. Do you know where Easters is?
Yes, I know
So it's
Easters.
Mamelodi, and then next
Yes,
to that
it's
is Easters.
Easters, yes.
That's where I grew up. I've been, even though I grew up in very humbling circumstances, I have been very fortunate to have always had the opportunity to take up leadership positions. I remember in primary school, I was a prefect. Grade 8, part of the Representative Council of Learners. Grade 10, I got elected to serve on the Representative Council of Learners Executive Committee. And then from grade 11 to 12, I was elected to be the president, or to serve as the president of the Representative Council of Learners Executive Committee. Fun fact about me, my second name is Cyril. So at some stage, at some stage in my life, I actually was a president. And it's something that I still remember to this very day. I finished, thereafter moved to Johannesburg, where I started my my tertiary education career there. I enrolled for BCom accounting. So I started BCom accounting at the age of 17, and I finished it with 17 distinctions. And then thereafter, I enrolled for my honors degree, and that was a very challenging year of my life.
The honors.
I did advanced accounting as one of the modules, and I still remember my first test, I got 40%. Second test, 42%. Third test, 45. I'm like, Hebatum.
What is happening?
What is? When they say 1 plus 1 was not equal to 2,
it's
it
11.
gave me 11. It gave me 11. I was not sure what was going on. And that's when I had to do a bit of introspection. And
Right.
go back to the drawing board, sit back, and I also had to make a mind shift change. I felt like I was definitely going to fail, to a point where I even started preparing to repeat the next year. I started putting money away, saying if I fail, at least I know I have 6 months worth of rent to go to res. I prepared for that.
Sure.
And then I had to change my mindset from, you know what, this is too big of a mountain to climb. And I had to change it from that and say, you know what, I've been assigned this mountain to show someone else that it can be moved. And I went from thinking that I'm going to fail to passing as a top academic achiever.
From your 40s.
Yes, from the 40s to passing as a top academic achiever. However, nothing was handed to me easily.
Yeah.
Even in my second year of doing BCom accounting, stayed in Johannesburg CBD. Guys, I have stories for days about CBD. I have stories for days about the things. You know what? I think I've built so much character I'm an associate now currently at one of the big 4 firms. I think I've built enough character to last until I become a partner. Because that's how much character I had to build. You have to tie the lever.
True.
Second year comes, COVID hits. Now I'm a NSFAS recipient, but I think that time we got 1.4. Now COVID hits, as I said previously, my parents, they had their own house and they both lost their jobs.
At the time.
Yeah. Now you must know, there's a landlady and a landlord that must be paid, and they
On time.
also run a business. You understand?
Yeah.
And that 1.4 a portion of that had to also go home. And trust me, a lot of students can relate to that because that is the reality of what we deal with as people who did not grow up with privilege.
True.
Parents lost their jobs. This one day, my parents just called me, tell me that they're going to relocate to the Northern Cape to go live with family for a while. And I'm like, so you guys are leaving me in Gauteng, in Joburg, all by myself, and I had to figure out what to do. And that is where I realized, so when I was from grade 10 to 12, I also did a module or a subject, as it's called then, dramatic arts. And in dramatic arts, they taught us about a concept called existentialism. We did a play called Waiting for Godot. I don't know if anyone knows that play, or I'm sure they still do it. It's a play called Waiting for Godot. And it's about these 2 characters from the beginning of the play right up until the end of the play. They do not develop as people. They stay the exact same. You know the analogy of an elephant that's tied to a small taki, and even as it grows, it doesn't, because it believes that that's how it has been conditioned to be. So this play is written based on a concept called existentialism. And what existentialism means is that us as humans are born in a void, or to even put it in layman's terms, we are born in mud. And it is up to you whether you are going to stay in the mud and not develop as a person or as a character, or are you going to step out of it and make something of your life? And at that moment, I realized existentialism now is going to play a very pivotal role in my life. I started emailing lecturers, asking them, do you have any tutor jobs available? Are there any side, handing out papers? Are there any administrative related jobs that I can, just start taking those opportunities so that I can assist my parents? And I remember I was not allowed to, but in my 3rd year, I tutored 6 modules, academic modules. And then in my honors year, I also tutored 6, of which for 2 of them, I was then promoted to a senior tutor. And I also was given the opportunity to become an academic marker for 2 of those modules. So while I was doing my honors, I tutored 6 modules, similarly to in 2020 when COVID hit, or 2021 actually, when I got those opportunities. I was so fortunate and blessed that we went from a situation of, being stranded to me being able to buy my parents the house that they deserve at the age of 20.
Wow.
Sure.
And that's
Well
why
done.
home is now not in Pretoria anymore. Home is in the Northern Cape. It's a town outside Kimberley, around 47 kilometers outside Kimberley, called Richie.
Yes.
Like Lionel Richie. Yeah, so that is where home is. And it's just for me the perfect reset from the hustle and bustle of Johannesburg. Because when I go home, I went home for the Easter weekend. Got to Kimberley 5 a.m. in the morning. 6 a.m. I sit at the back of a bakkie going home. When we had to go to town to go buy some groceries and stuff, I sat in the taxi on a bucket.
Yes, they have a weird system.
Yeah, they have a very, very, and you pay same price. Mind you pay same price.
I'm always asking myself what's happening
Where
in
the
Northern Cape, but they have a,
Literally, whether you sit on the rankakata, whether you sit on the bucket, whether you sit on the that thing there where the wheel is, you will pay same price. And that is, it just takes me back to
humble beginnings.
Yes, humble beginnings. Because when you go home, this is the thing about me when I go home. They don't care, my parents, they don't care whether you have 2 degrees.
True.
They don't care whether you are the Young Internal Auditor of the Year. They don't care whether you are president at some stage. They don't care
if you're
whether
serious.
they don't care whether you work for the Big Four. When you enter that gate, all those accolades and awards and whatever, you leave it there. And when I walk in there, I'm Rowan. For the past 3 times, they're a child. For the past 3 times that I've been home, I didn't even sleep on a bed. I did not sleep on a bed because for some reason, they are always entertaining people. And there's always people at home. I think Christmas were like 19 people under one roof. Can you imagine that? So that was actually such a blessing for us because my grandmother, she has 2 siblings. So my grandmother's sister's 93, my grandmother's 83, and the younger sister at that point was 72. And we were fortunate enough to host all 3 of them on Christmas under one roof and create history because they haven't been together on Christmas. So yeah, that's I can go on and on and on about where I come from, and because it's something I'm not shy of. It's something that a lot of people go through, and it's not about how you start the journey. It's about how you finish it.
Yeah.
And you see, life is not like this. When you are in hospital, God forbid we end up in hospital, but if you're in hospital, we see movies, the thing goes like this, the machine.
Yes.
And that's how life is.
Yes.
You have ups and
Yeah,
downs, ups and downs. The moment it does that, you must know there's no life in that body anymore.
Not true. I always say that even when you're driving, you pass speed humps.
Exactly. And that's
That's
how life
life,
is.
yeah.
And as you know, people might think, oh, Young Internal Auditor of the Year,
He's
associated
got
with
it
Big Four.
all.
I have challenges that I deal with I also have failures. Mind you, that was one of the things I was the most scared about, failure. Because I've always, been in a position of excelling. Whatever opportunity I got, taking those opportunities and just, using it to the best way possible. And, like a sponge, getting out all that liquid out of there. Do you understand? And I've, embarked on my journey to get my professional designation, Certified Internal Auditor. I attempted, so there's 3 parts. For those of you who do not know, there's 3 parts to the exam. So I've attempted part 1, prepared weeks on end, went to go right, and my biggest fear became a reality. It's one thing to fail with 8, 9, 10%, because then okay, there's a knowledge gap. I need to go back to the drawing board, go back to the books and see where those gaps are. It's another thing when you fail with 1%.
Yeah.
That, mind you, it was not even content related. It was just the fact that I just had bad management over my time. I think when I looked at the time, because you have 2.5 hours to answer 120 multiple choice questions. When I looked at the time again, I had like 5 minutes to answer 25 questions. Because the first few questions and this is something I know there is a weakness of mine. I'm a perfectionist by nature. I like things to look perfect. I want to do them perfectly. So I spent a lot of time on the first few questions, making sure, is this really the right? I would read it 5 times, just make sure I understand the question. Did I really select the right option? Went back, and that took a lot of time. Failure is not a problem. It's a problem when you do not stand up, dust yourself off, hold your head up high, and move forward. Then failure is going to become a problem. I also use the acronym for FAIL. First attempt in learning.
True.
So first attempt in learning. Nothing is going to come to you on a silver platter unless you are born into that. Some of us wish. However, what I also learned with this whole journey is online own pace. And we might be, it's also when, now as an internal auditor, internal audit trainee, I work for the Big Four, so I'm also in a position where I service multiple sectors, multiple clients, from mining to hospitals to pharmaceuticals to insurances. You can do the same audit for a different client, but it will not be the same. You can do the same audit in a different period, but it will also not be the same. And even though we might sit here, you are a partner, I'm a partner, manifesting, putting it out, putting it in the universe.
Yes.
Putting it in the universe.
And the universe,
We all three might be partners, but none of our journeys are the same. Do you understand? And I think that's also, as a young professional, something that I learned very quickly, because you get into a corporate environment, you see, hey, people are driving a Benz, someone is driving a 1 Series. Me, I still catch my Geza. I still catch my Geza. And you know what? Listen, I can tell you stories about my Gezas as well. Hey, that thing will make sure you get to work on time.
True.
It will get on a sidewalk. It will drive on grass. If there's one thing you must know, once you hear that and the engine goes like that,
And you just there safely.
Just know. And some of them, as you drive, the doors open, windows open, you are sitting on steel and leather.
Yeah.
However, they will make sure you get to work on time. And you know what? That's the journey of life. You must just know, own lane, own pace. Even with this whole failure thing of me failing CIA, part 1, I was sad.
Did you cry?
I don't cry.
Okay.
The one time I cried was in Johannesburg CBD. I'll tell you that story. We'll circle back to that story coming back. I actually had an incident again last year on the 27th of December in Johannesburg CBD.
You remember the date?
Guys,
That was
CBD.
an eventful one.
Yeah,
Very traumatic.
day. But even with that failure, the one thing that I realized is that many a times, and it's a good thing to have a vision. It's a good thing. Many a times, 10 things can go right. One thing will go wrong, and we will focus on that one thing that went wrong. And I realized that, yes, I had to mourn, because for me it was like a loss.
And
you
it's
have
very
to go through,
important.
yes, you have to go through that whole mourning process of
The grief.
grieving. You are angry, you are sad, you are crying, until you get to the point of acceptance. You have to go through all of that. And I allowed myself to go through that. I allowed myself to feel. But the one thing that I realized was that I am grateful for what I have, instead of being sad for what I don't have or for what I've lost. And it's okay to feel. We are not robots. We have emotions. It's okay to feel. There are things that we can do right when it comes to our careers and finances and investments and whatever. You might have that knowledge, but there will always be that one thing that lacks. For instance, with me, relationships. Hey, I'm go wishing any other day when it comes to that one, because there's no rule book, there's no guide that say step 1. You know how many
At least CIA has a book you can go back to, but
I can always go back to the drawing board and be like, you know what? At least this is where I fumbled. This is where but relationships, that one will humble you. It's either you got it or you don't.
So
I
Rowan,
believe.
you really must write that biography, eh? You really have a lot to
Guys,
to
I
tell.
have stories for days.
Yeah, no, please do write
Whoever
that.
stayed in Johannesburg CBD,
That should be a chapter on its own, right? In
Guys.
that biography.
first year, as I told you, there wasn't much. I remember got accepted to go to the University of Johannesburg. Mind you, the 2 competitors of Eugene, both declined my application.
Yeah.
You just send me the application, went. My parents were also not prepared because I'm the first one that went to varsity.
Oh.
And now it's the week I have to move. Mind you, I went to Johannesburg CBD to go look for accommodation. Miraculously made it out alive back home.
But you still wanted to go and stay there permanently.
What other option did I have? What other option was
Because you
there?
had to work.
Exactly. I had to, they accepted me. I knew I wanted to get my degree because I wanted the economic freedom that comes with, well, not all degrees, well, also economic freedom. Even when you have how many degrees, it's sometimes, it's also a ladder that you must climb. And then my parents also weren't prepared. I wasn't also prepared. We didn't know what you had to take to raise and whatever. I started taking a pot here, a pot there, cup here, 3 spoons here, a teaspoon, a tablespoon, a fork, a knife. I gathered all of that. Went, moved into res, and I remember my mother. At that point, she was a primary school, preschool teacher. And she used to get 1,700 rand per month as pay. And this was like a couple of years ago.
Sure.
1,700. And she gave me a last 400 rand that day and told me, I don't have anything else. I don't have more to give you. Went, moved in, did groceries. Somehow as a student, you will beg as hell. You will, it's either, as a student, you have ways of making ends meet. Use that 400 rand, bought groceries. Hey, I bought. You'd swear I had a 4,000.
What did you buy? Because you can't afford strawberries,
I went to ShopRite. Strawberries. Look at us now. You see, now we can cheers. Now we can have strawberries with water with mint and strawberries in. Back in the day, tap water. When you open it and it's
brown.
It looks like ginger beer. You will make things work.
You still have to down it.
I literally bought the basics. Maize meal. I even remember buying the brand of the no-name brand, Kellogg's. Ever since that I didn't buy Kellogg's again because it was, you could taste the no-name in it. But we moved. But I bought the basics. Made sure I had toiletries, I had soap. You can't look like your problems.
Yeah.
That's also the thing.
Definitely.
Like, you cannot look. If there's one thing you must know, never look like your problems.
No, true.
Confuse the enemy.
Yeah.
Show
all the time.
Show up. You know
what I always say?
So
when you wake up, Satan must be angry. That's your wake up,
you must be angry because you must never let your enemies think they're prospering. Do you understand? And started saving up. My dad also made ways for me to get a laptop and an iPad because at that point you're a student. You need to have a laptop. Bought the laptop. My dad and I, with my mother, we made some arrangements here and there, got the laptop, got an iPad, was so happy. I wrote maths that day. Then my mother calls me. She tells me that she and my sister are on the way to come and drop off the laptop. So they are now driving from Pretoria, coming to drop off the laptop and the iPad. Wrote maths that day. It showed me flames.
Of course.
It showed me flames. And that's probably why I chose to go the auditing route, because it's something you read, you comprehend, you understand, and you can apply. Maths, to this day, why must we find for X? Why must we find for X?
I like the fact that
you understand. It's just I always just start out to consider algebra.
Yeah.
Why? Hyperbola, parabola. Why?
Why should we know this?
The French calculus. Why? Do you understand?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm like, hey, you know what? I don't have a choice. I just had to, right?
Considering your background,
Exactly.
You can't afford to fail.
You can't. Failure was not an option. Even still now, failure is not an option. You had to put your best foot forward. Wrote maths that day. Hey, guys, came home. No, took a taxi because I'm like, I want to get there as soon as possible. Took a taxi to CBD. Now I stay in CBD, but I'm not that clued up geographically. If you leave me here now and tell me to go home, I would not know how to get home. At least now you can Uber.
Yes.
Bonsoir. Hey, get off at this church in CBD. So I went with a friend and she told me, I told her, there's one place I always get off because I know from that place, I walk like this, I walk like this, I turn here, I turn there, then I get to the place. Then she's like, no, if you get off at this church, it's even closer to where you stay. Hey, not me walking around in circles in that CBD, trying to navigate with my phone. I think with your phone, with my phone.
In Joburg
CBD. I know, it is CBD.
That's a red
That's
flag.
not even
Already.
You see, that's you think it's that plot twist. Eventually get home, get to rest
You with your phone.
with my phone.
Intact.
I get there with the phone.
Just like you.
No, that's a
Get there.
miracle.
That's a
That's a miracle.
not in Joburg.
Plot twist. As my
I think.
yeah. So my sister and my mother, they're sitting in the car. My
Miserable.
sister's like, you know what, let's surprise him and go buy food for him. It's them leaving the laptop and the iPad on the seat.
Because they think it's Pretoria.
Hey, they
Brand new.
like brand new. There's not even password on there. It's still in the box. Went to buy the food, came back. Now I get there. I'm surprised to see them. I'm happy. I'm like, I haven't seen them in a while. I greet them. I just see the mood is very,
Somber.
yeah, it's somber, it's dull. It's like people are depressed. I'm like, oh, guys, what's going on? My mother's like, they just broke into the car and took the laptop and the iPad. I'm like, that can't be. There's no way. I even laughed. I'm like, guys, please don't play with me like this. After I just wrote maths, you want to add on top of my problems.
That's
you want to add
Joburg
on
for
my-
you.
My mother's like, just go look at the back of the car. The window was smashed. They got in. Mind you, when my mother and sister left, there's this lady selling some cats. My mother told her, please just look at the car for us. We're coming back now.
Oh.
They get back. See, now it's been broken into. The very same lady sitting there. My mother's like, what went on? What happened? That lady's like, me, I didn't see anything. The car's right in front of her, front opposite. She's like, she didn't see anything. So those are just some of the things I went through in that CBD.
And
But-
you know, that's the thing that people are not aware of. In Pretoria, if that woman was based in Pretoria, if you say, look after my car, definitely they will look after your car.
Oh.
In Joburg, they will not see what happened.
Listen,
You don't
and
even
they are
ask for
all
directions in
They are
Joburg.
all in
Oh, you
codes.
don't?
They are all in codes, I'm telling you. So I didn't even see it. I didn't touch it. I didn't smell it. Nothing. Just disappeared. And then I had to tie the lever and be strong. So that's just an example of
Against all odds.
exactly against all odds. I had to persevere, pick myself up, dust myself off, and move forward. And those are the things that you deal with as a student. Now, on top of that, you are far away from home. You are figuring this thing out yourself. But it's about picking yourself up, dusting yourself off, and moving.
So Rowan, coming back to internal audit, you mentioned a lot of things.
Yeah.
You mentioned that things were not going well academically. You had to refocus, and then you were top of your class. I'm interested to know what happened, what changed, what drove you to that direction.
Yeah. So, and this is also the thing, and I mean, I'm happy for you to also disagree and tell me why you would disagree, right? This is not a.
He's interviewing us now.
Yeah, let's talk about this. So I didn't get into the CA stream to study chartered accountancy. You know, when we were in school, we only knew that when you do accounting, you want to become a chartered accountant.
Yeah.
That's what we knew. I at that point didn't know what an internal auditor was. I didn't know that there's something like a tax practitioner or someone who pursues CGMA, for instance. I did not know about that. Got in for BCom accounting, enrolled or registered for BCom accounting. And in my second year, I did a module called governance and control. And I studied BCom accounting. I don't like accounting. I don't actually, but I have a whole degree in accounting.
Sure.
Anyway, second year did a module called governance and control, and first semester governance and control, second semester ethical foundation to commerce, and that is where I started becoming interested in this thing called governance and control and ethics and risk management and you know what we do with this. In my third year, we did governance and control as a year module. And at that point, because, well, at the I already said at which university I started, but the BCom accounting qualification is structured in a way where in your third year, you do accounting, you do tax, you do finance, and you do governance.
Yes.
And accounting, no, flames. Tax, I passed them. Flames. Finance, flames. Governance, loved governance. Because I understood.
You loved 1 out of 4.
1 out of 4.
We should have the music background. You are saying names, somebody.
Literally 1 out of the 4. And that's why I started developing this passion for ethical foundations to commerce, governance, control. And then only at that point got a little bit of exposure to internal auditing. We only did like 1 chapter of internal auditing. And I knew that that is something that I wanted to pursue. Could I have I could have done the bridging course and get into the CA stream and become a chartered accountant. However, could I have done it? Absolutely. Was it a passion? Absolutely not. It was not a passion for me. I had a passion for the governance part, and that is why I enrolled for it at that point, and do not regret it whatsoever. Not even a little bit. People still to this day believe that in the finance sector, or whatever you want to call it, accountancy, whatever, if you are not a chartered accountant, you're not going to be successful.
Look at you.
Chartered accountants earn the most money. Plot twist.
Look at
Some
you.
of us as internal audit trainees earn more than CA trainees. Do you understand? So do not also pursue it because you think they earn the most money.
Yeah.
Well, might not be the case. It's
Plot
just
twist.
really there. Plot
I
twist.
hear that you
Absolutely.
love that word.
Yeah.
Plot twist. Because I'm the only lady, you know, I'm not the gentleman.
Oh.
I have questions for you.
Oh.
The first one to answer all this, okay, the top person to have the correct answer. What will they get? Lunch on us as the Institute of Internal Auditors? A voucher? Is that fine?
I celebrated my 23rd birthday 3 days ago.
Okay, you getting...
So, and my love language is gifts. I love gifts. I express love through gifts. So, and it doesn't even have to
be anything big.
Yeah. Just something that, something that I can look back to 10 years from now and be like, you know what, that day when I went for this podcast and that interview and I sat with this beautiful lady and gentleman, this is where I got that from. Do you understand? So things that you can always tie like a memory to and say,
it shall be arranged.
Thank you. And remember,
first question, gentlemen. Which country is the largest in the world?
Remember I just said 2 minutes ago, geographically, I'm not inclined. So you're not good. I don't know. Can we take wild guesses?
What do you mean by largest? Geographically or
in
by population?
Geographically.
Country.
Like,
Okay, South Africa's a country, right?
Maybe give us a clue in terms of which
that it's
continent it is.
Yeah. Is it going to be too direct?
very direct.
I think it's the USA.
No, Russia.
Oh.
According to the Guinness World Records, what is the best-selling book of all time? I'm hiding so that you won't see. This book is the most stolen book in the bookstores.
I think stolen.
Yeah. So according to the Guinness World Records, what's the best-selling book of all
I think
time?
it's the Bible.
It is the Bible.
No, I want us to say it can't be the Bible because
It is the Bible.
you are stealing the Bible.
Yes,
You
if you
are-
walk into exclusive books,
Thou shalt not steal.
they will tell you that.
That's one of the commandments out there. You steal a Bible.
But when you go to any bookshop, they will tell you that the most stolen book is the Bible.
I hope
Very
people put
odd.
it to good use. Steal it and put it to good use.
No, you will steal it. Remember, the very same book is telling you about forgiveness.
Exactly, it's the irony for me. Eh? No,
So
it's the
you
irony
steal,
for me,
You
guys.
get
no.
the 77.
So the end justifies the means.
Way.
What, 1997 were you
I'm
born
leading,
at the
eh?
time?
1997, I wasn't even a thought. I was not even a thought. At
Ah.
1997, no ways.
Do you know Will Smith at least?
I do.
Tommy Lee? Tommy Lee Jones?
No.
Okay, this is your giveaway. I think you should get this one. What 1997 movie features Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones as undercover secret agents?
I already know it. It's Men in Black.
Na na na.
Yeah. So that's the third question. I'm at 1-0. No, but guys, I thought of the Bible.
No, but I got
It's a
that.
thought that counts.
No,
No.
not this time.
Ebana.
Not this time, unfortunately.
Ebana. Yeah,
Let me
ne?
ask you this
Jakara.
question. Let me ask you this question. You are at an auditee, and then you didn't raise a finding.
Mm-hmm.
They're blaming you that you didn't give them assurance, proper assurance. Do you say is the thought, I was thinking about it, or you have to voice it out?
You see, now that's now the thing. Now you're getting too technical. Now you're getting about too technical. Can we stick to what you are busy trying to achieve with your questions or your line of questions? When I
I'm
said
saying that, you
I'm
know,
conventional trying to not get with that gift, but it's fine. You know what? This is life. And you win some and you lose some, eh?
you win some, you lose some. You would understand. Do you have a mentor? Please tell to us, if you have a mentor, tell us the importance of a mentor. And if you don't have a mentor, tell us what measures are you going to take to get a mentor. Because as a young person, it's very important to have somebody guiding you, somebody that you look up to, somebody that you can text. Nowadays, they text via TikTok.
What's up?
You send them a TikTok video saying, I want to ask them these questions. Okay, maybe not that extreme, but what are the importance of having a mentor along your journey, especially as a young person? Because remember, this will be watched by somebody at your university, sitting in that CBD room that you sat at, aspiring to be you. So what's the importance of having a mentor?
I think that's one of the things or aspects that it is gonna make or break you.
Do you have a mentor? That's the first question. Okay.
I do. I do have a mentor. For multiple aspects of my life. So as I said, I am fortunate enough to work for a Big Four firm. So how it is structured is that you have a manager who's your career coach, and then you also have a partner who's your coaching partner, basically. And your career coach is someone that stands with you, walks the journey with you, someone that have gone through the process already and know what challenges you might face and what measures you can put in place to sort of alleviate those challenges or to get through those challenges. Because as a first year, there's a difference between what you learn theoretically and what you have to apply practically in practice. And that's also something you have to get to master, or not master, but be aware of the fact that you have to unlearn and relearn. You need to be, as a professional, you need to be flexible and adaptable. Do you understand? And
Be
that is-
teachable too.
Yeah, do you understand? Be agile. And that is where I realize the importance of having a mentor. And I have the best career coach, Anay Meyer. I know she's going to watch this. Guys, the best thing that happened to me career-wise. Also, my coaching partner, Lusanda, a little bit told me that Lusanda is somewhere involved with IIA, so I'm not gonna give her the credit now. If anyone wants to know Lusanda,
You know what is my theory?
Yeah.
She needs to pay you.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yes.
You know what? Go Google her. Go on LinkedIn. Search Lusanda and you'll see the things that pop up. Two amazing women that really, career-wise, know where I aspire to be and walks the journey with me on how I can get there. Also, in my personal life, someone that she was, as I said, I was a tutor, right? So she lectured governance to me, governance and control to an ethical foundation to commerce. I later became an employee because I tutored a module, later became a senior tutor, and then after I finished my degree, she then became a mentor to me. More like a life coach, I would say. Pranisha Rama, absolutely amazing woman, senior lecturer, CA by profession.
Yes.
And she is someone I can, people don't like voice notes. I can send that lady a 20-minute voice note and trust and believe she will respond to it. Any day, anytime, send her a voice note. Listen here, I want to buy a car. What advice can you give me? I want to look into buying property. What advice, property decide? What advice would you give me? She was also an internal auditor by profession. So, someone that, can just give you those pearls of wisdom. Someone that can tell you, listen here, it's not always going to be easy. However, this is how you can prepare for this. Do this instead of that. And that is for me the importance of a mentor. Someone that went through the process and can guide you through, obviously, and they're not going to tell you what to do. They can tell you, listen, because sometimes we get so used to people telling us what to do and get into that comfort zone. But this is not what they do. They will tell me, these are your options. What do you think? Tell me, what do you think? How best do you think you can approach this? And let's see how we can get to from A to B. And it's necessary because we don't have it all figured out.
Yeah.
But having a mentor that can take you through that journey any day, anytime, highly recommend it.
The TikTok generation.
Yes.
Yeah, no, you definitely, in today's economy,
Yeah.
we see what's happening in the news. In today's economy, you need a mentor because there's always someone that knows someone, that knows someone that is looking for someone. And that's also how you expand your network.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
So with that in mind, Rowan, what would be your advice to, young internal auditors that are still starting out in the profession?
Yeah.
How would you advise them? What do they need to look out for? How do they need to, carry themselves?
Yeah. I think, as I mentioned previously, own lane, own pace. Coming in, know that you need to stay in your lane and you are walking your journey, and your journey is not the same as someone else's journey. I've also mentioned the unlearn and relearn. Be flexible, be adaptable. This is a profession that can take you places. I went on my first international audit. I returned from an out-of-country audit 2 weeks ago, actually. I would not have gotten that opportunity had I not made the people aware of the fact that I want to travel. I want to, from a global and inclusive perspective, from a business acumen perspective, I want to start building those skills. I want to build those solid and sustainable relationships with clients on that level. It's seizing those opportunities. It's being like a sponge and absorbing it and
Everything.
whatever opportunity you are granted with. And it will be nerve-wracking, it will be nerve-wracking, but put your best foot forward, take the opportunities, seize them, abuse those opportunities, and just put your best foot forward, make the best out of the situation that you have. Also, another thing that I think is very important, and I mentioned it previously, that I'm not defined by what I am, the what being an associate, top academic achiever, a young internal auditor of the year, former president. Those are things that, the what. Take that away from me, then who am I? I'm someone who is authentic, someone who has a vision, and one thing that no one can take away from me is my work ethic.
Yes.
Have a vision. Know where it is where you want to end up. Know where it is where you want to land. Have a mentor that you communicate this vision to. And tell them, listen here, after 5 years, this is where I'd like to be. How can I get there? What advice would you give to me? Remain authentic to yourself. That is crucial. Know who you are and remain authentic to who you are. Do not be who people expect of you to be. Be you. And your work ethic. In whatever you do, put your best foot forward. That should be something that no one should be able to take away from you. Stay in your lane. Use all the opportunities you get. Be flexible, be adaptable, be agile, be authentic, have a work ethic, and have a vision. That's what I would tell my younger self, who is also still new in the industry, or as a first year. I would say, do that.
I think, he is our young leader now.
Yes.
And there is a program that is run by the Institute of Internal Auditors for students that is called Siyakhula.
Siyakhula, yes.
Now, as a young person, and it's more relevant to him than us. If I say advise the young person, you will advise them about your experiences when you were in school in your 90s.
Which was a long time ago.
How many moons ago was that?
I don't want to expose my age. I'll say 5 years.
Oh, sure. 5 decades. 5 decades.
If you have to convince, actually, let me put this, convince the young person to be part of the conference, the Young Leaders Conference, on the 8th of September. Look in the camera. When you look in the camera, you, in your mind, you have that young person watching, and you want to convince them to attend this conference. Please convince them.
I'm going to keep it simple and straightforward. Our time has arrived. It is time for us to stop sitting on the back burner and be told what to do. We oftentimes would just like to complain. Now you have the opportunity. The same way that you can create history by voting, you now have an opportunity. You have a voice. You can also be heard. It is time for us to step up and realize that the world is our oyster. This is first of its kind, actually, that they're going to be hosting this, the IIA is going to be hosting this conference. This is the time for us as young professionals to come together, to come and network, to expand our horizons, to put our mark down and say, listen here, our time has arrived. Let us come together and talk about the issues that we are facing in our professions. Where are those weaknesses? Where are those gaps? What do we want to see differently? Where do we see ourselves going in this profession? Because do you know what? It can only go onwards and upwards from here. So come, let us network. Let us talk about these issues that we are facing. Let us help the Institute of Internal Auditors to fill these gaps in the market and just be the best versions of ourselves.
Right. So we're going to wrap up. But before Tloge wraps up, I want to ask you one question. So if you were to be a CEO of the Institute of Internal Auditors for one day.
One day.
Just one day.
Just one.
So he has what, 8 hours?
Well, to some people, one day is 24
Yeah.
hours.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
But if you had to be that person for a day, what would you change about the institution? What would what impact would you want to make?
Interesting question. I didn't see that one coming, if I must be honest. But I'm going to go back to, and I think any CEO...
Remember one day, hey?
Yeah. Any CEO would have their own vision and they would want to put their own mark down. I think for me, the one thing that I've always been passionate about and still doing is creating awareness for internal auditing. That is where my passion lies. I want to, from high school level, in the same way we talk about what a chartered accountant is. At an high school level, I already want you to know what an internal auditor is, or an auditor, because at that point it would just be high level. But for me to create that awareness, I would, if I have the money to blow it, I will blow it on SABC, ENCA, wherever, TikTok, wherever the algorithms are algorithming, put it out there and create that awareness for internal auditing so that people do not pursue this qualification or a qualification in internal auditing as a default. Because now you couldn't get into the CTA qualification, now you are stuck with become honors in internal auditing. If I did not have that passion for ethics and controls and risk management, I would not have been sitting here today. Do you understand? However, had I known that I can become an internal auditor via BCom accounting, study honors in internal auditing, I would have done that. Do you understand? So did I think 5 years, 10 years back, I would want to be an internal auditor? No, because at that point I didn't even know it. However, if I can, let us create awareness. And I feel like that is a gap.
Yeah.
And you can agree or disagree with me. That is a gap. And as I said, our time has come. It is time for us to stand up, stop sitting on the back burner, create awareness, rock the boat, show them.
Yeah.
We have arrived. We have arrived. Please.
It was a very refreshing interview.
Indeed.
Very refreshing. Thank you, Say.
Thank
you for the time
already.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Like, what do you mean? I just got started.
It's one CPD, other CPD.
Yeah.
So, and I'm glad that you enjoyed yourself.
I did. And as I said, for me, this was a conversation. And as I'm saying again, for the Young Leaders Conference, that's an opportunity for us to come together and have these conversations about what's happening in the profession. And I think it's actually amazing what the Institute of Internal Auditors is starting to do, creating the awareness for internal auditing from high school level, taking it to varsity.
Yes.
I don't know if there's something more that you'd like to add on that.
There is. Actually, thank you very much. We have programs for our graduates. We have programs for our students. This is basically to make the students and the graduates aware of internal audit, to show that as internal auditors, we are not only looking at the older generation, we are looking at 2000, as they call them. So there are two programs, Siyakhula and Siyafunda. Siyakhula is for students and Siyafunda is for learners. If you want to get more information about this, and especially students, I urge you to research and look at our website, which is www.iiasa.co.za. internalaudit.org.za and find more information. But also, we have a Siyakhula conference, the first one for this year, which will happen on the 6th of September. And I say, please attend. You need to network. This is your opportunity to network. This is your opportunity to be expounded, as our young internal auditor has said. And we also have our conference coming up on the 12th to the 14th of August, which will be in Sandton. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching us.
To great futures and beyond.